The storm outside had just started to whisper, when inside the grand marble mansion, a cry shattered the silence. Sharp, fragile, and full of defiance. It was the cry of a child who had everything the world could offer, except love. His name was Ethan Delacroix, heir to one of the richest families in the city. His father, Alexander Delacroix, a cold-eyed billionaire with the world at his feet, believed emotions were a weakness. His mother, Clara, had died giving birth to Ethan, leaving behind a silence that even wealth couldn't fill. From that day forward, Alexander replaced lullabies with luxury, golden cribs, diamond rattles, and an army of nannies who came and went like shadows. But none of them lasted long. Because baby Ethan had a habit, a strange, uncontrollable one. Every time a nanny came close, he'd cry, scream, and spit at her face. It didn't matter how gentle she was, how patient, how trained. Within days, they'd quit, whispering that something was wrong with the boy. Call to action number 1, after the hook. If this story already has your heart beating faster, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Universe, where stories like this remind us that love can bloom in the most unexpected places. Months passed, then years, and soon, Ethan was nearly 3. A bright-eyed boy with tousled dark hair, always silent, always guarded, his smile buried deep behind walls too high for anyone to climb. Alexander didn't care much. As long as he eats and grows, he told the staff coldly. I don't have time for childish drama. And so Ethan's world was filled with expensive toys he never touched, silk sheets he never liked, and the echo of footsteps that never came close. Until one morning, a new voice arrived. Her name was Maria, a soft-spoken young maid barely 22. She wasn't hired as a nanny. She came from the poor district outside the city. Her clothes plain, her hands rough from years of washing and scrubbing. She was assigned to clean the nursery, not care for the child. But fate had a way of crossing paths where they shouldn't. The first time Maria saw Ethan, he was sitting in a corner, building a tower of blocks that he suddenly knocked down in anger. The nanny standing near him sighed in frustration, mumbling under her breath before leaving the room. Ethan's small hands trembled. Maria quietly knelt, began picking up the scattered blocks, and without looking at him, said gently, You built it really tall. Maybe next time we can make it even taller. Ethan looked at her, suspicious, curious, silent. She smiled. I'm just cleaning. Don't mind me, little boss. And for the first time, he didn't spit. Over the next few days, Maria worked quietly, humming songs under her breath. She never tried to touch him, never forced a smile, never begged him to behave. She just existed, simple, warm, and kind, like sunlight through dusty glass. One afternoon, Ethan followed the sound of her humming. She was cleaning the window, softly singing a lullaby her mother used to sing to her back home. The melody was cracked but full of love. Ethan stood near her, his tiny hand clutching his toy car. You sing funny, he said finally, his small voice uncertain. Maria turned, surprised. Do I? He nodded. But I like it. That was the first time Ethan spoke more than a word in weeks. From that day, something changed. Ethan began watching Maria as she worked, sweeping, folding, dusting. When she laughed, he laughed too. When she tripped over a toy and giggled at her clumsiness, he ran over to help her pick it up. Soon, the nannies noticed something strange. Whenever Maria entered the nursery, Ethan became calm. Whenever she left, he'd cry. Rumors spread fast in a house full of staff. The boy likes the maid, they whispered. He spat on trained caregivers but smiles at a girl with no education. When Alexander heard of it, he was furious. One morning, he stormed into the nursery. What's this nonsense I'm hearing? His voice boomed through the room. My son needs a professional, not a cleaning girl's attention. Maria froze. Sir, I never... But Ethan interrupted. Don't yell at her! His voice cracked with fear. Alexander stopped mid-sentence. The boy who never spoke to him, who refused every nanny, was defending her. Maria bowed her head. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to interfere. Alexander's jaw tightened. You'll be transferred to another wing. Ethan began to cry, a sound that tore through the marble halls. And before anyone could stop him, he ran forward, wrapped his tiny arms around Maria's legs and whispered, Don't go. Then, in front of everyone, he kissed her cheek. The mansion went silent. The child who spat at everyone had kissed the poor maid. And that moment broke something inside Alexander. He didn't understand it. He couldn't. But he saw something in his son's eyes. The same kind of love Clara once had before she died. It was pure. It was real. It was human. Maria wasn't fired, but she was told to keep her distance. She obeyed, but her absence turned the mansion gray. Ethan stopped eating. He broke toys, threw tantrums, and refused to sleep. The house doctor called it attachment anxiety. But Alexander didn't care for labels, only results. After 2 weeks of silence, he finally went to Maria. "Come back," he said stiffly. "My son needs you." Maria nodded, though her eyes were full of hesitation. "He doesn't just need me, sir. He needs love. He needs you." Alexander scoffed. "Love doesn't raise heirs." Maria looked at him, her voice soft but firm. "Maybe that's why they forget how to live." Days turned to weeks again, and under Maria's warmth, Ethan bloomed. He laughed more, spoke more, and learned how to hug without fear. Alexander watched from afar, torn between jealousy and awe. Every smile his son gave Maria was one he wished he could earn himself. Then came the night everything changed. A fire broke out in the mansion's east wing, electrical, sudden, unstoppable. Chaos erupted. Staff screamed, alarms blared. Ethan's room filled with smoke before anyone reached him. Maria didn't think twice. She ran through the flames, coughing, shouting his name. She found him hiding under the bed, crying, clutching his stuffed bear. "It's okay, baby," she gasped, pulling him into her arms. "I've got you." As they escaped through the smoke-filled corridor, a beam collapsed. Maria shielded Ethan with her body. When Alexander and the rescuers finally found them, she was unconscious. Burned, bruised, but alive. Ethan wouldn't let go of her hand. "She saved me," he sobbed. "Don't let her die, Daddy!" For the first time in years, Alexander cried too. Maria spent weeks in the hospital. Alexander visited every day, silently sitting by her bed. Ethan brought her flowers, crayon drawings, and one day whispered, "I'll never spit again." When Maria finally woke up, the first thing she saw was Ethan asleep beside her and Alexander holding her hand. His eyes were red. "Thank you," he said simply. "You didn't just save my son. You saved me." From that day forward, things changed. The mansion filled with laughter again. Alexander hired fewer servants and spent more time with his son. He even learned how to make pancakes, badly, but with love. Maria stayed, not as a maid, but as part of the family. Years later, when Ethan grew older and understood what happened, he'd often say to his father, "You bought the world, Dad, but she gave it to us." And Alexander would smile softly, replying, "She taught us how to love again." Call to action number 2 before ending. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Universe. Hit the like button and share this video. Because sometimes, one small act of love can rewrite an entire life. Ending message. Love doesn't recognize wealth or titles. It finds its way through cracks of pain, through people we least expect. A maid's kindness, a child's innocence, a father's redemption. The millionaire's baby who once spat at every nanny grew up knowing that real richness was never in gold or marble, but in the warmth of a heart that cared. Because in the end, the world doesn't remember how much we owned, only how much we loved.